Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
It's pretty much impossible to change somebody's mind. So if you want to be successful as a coach, consultant, or small to medium business, you should start working with your prospects and not attempting to change their minds if they haven't gotten to know, like, and trust you. The reason why this is because people are already set in their ways. People are already living their lives before they come across your information. And if you want to, grab their attention within the first 3 seconds of them coming across your stuff, you need to make sure that they're already in line with your way of thinking, your way of being, your beliefs, and your values. That way, it makes it super easy for them to start venturing more into discovering who you are and what it is that you can do to help them. The reason why also this is because, like what Seth Godin says, people like us do things like this. All right. So there's no more of a powerful tribal marketing connection than this. We are wired to be, do, and have what others in society or what others that look like us or amongst us are already doing. It's just survival, okay? So if you're coming in with any health or wealth or relationship or, your business model is around consulting, training, information, expertise, you don't necessarily want to come out of the open, with something completely radical and different to what people are already engaging with in their marketplace. All right. So I'm not necessarily saying you do exactly what everybody else is doing, but I want you to understand that if you show people you are like them, they're more than happy and willing to actually support you. The reason why is because people do anything for those who actually encourage their dreams, people who justify their failures, people who ally with their fears, confirm their suspicions, or help them throw rocks at their enemies. So I'll be going through all of these things just so you understand what your website needs to look like, what your message needs to look like in order for you to create for and relate to the audience you're going to be demanding money off of. Okay, so I mentioned a couple of things like encourage dreams, justify your failures, and things of that nature. If you encourage people's dreams as a leader or as a coach or consultant, it's vital that you understand your audience dreams. What are they hoping to achieve? Because if you don't have a clear understanding of where they want to go, how are you going to lead them to nirvana? So when you're writing copy on your website, when you're creating podcasts or content like this, the easiest way for you to maybe close the sale is to probably write in a way that keeps your readers nodding in agreement. If they are happy and they are nodding in agreement, it's easier for them to then for you to then get them to say yes to whatever it is that you're presenting to them. Because the toughest approach you can ever take is try to change people's mind. Okay, so when you encourage people's dreams, you've already identified who their target audience is. You've clarified their message. You now know what to offer them. It makes it super, super easy for you to then speak to people. You are literally preaching to the choir. And if you know and understand these people, which is basically you justify their failures, you justify why they haven't been able to achieve the results that you're talking about, you justify that because they haven't come across your methodology or your way of doing things, that's the reason why they have been failing, and that you get it. Okay, because nobody's just sitting there and not trying to solve their problem. Yes, they might have tried other things and they haven't worked. So if you know and understand your audience, you can literally say, hey, it's not your fault that you haven't had good health. It's not your fault that you haven't had prosperity. It's not your fault that you haven't had the best of relationships. It's just simply because you had not got the right information. So as a coach or consultant, it's very vital that you understand your audience dreams, and then you can encourage them. And most people who end up following coaches and consultants and becomes their fans, they would have tried to make a change before. So you not be the first person that they've learned that from. So you don't want to come to them as if you're the first person to discover that problem. You just literally want to justify their failures and let them understand that you get it, that they're facing these certain problems only because, yes, they have tried, but they haven't tried hard enough. And you want to be the person that then delivers the solution, that they're looking for. So you're not going to be the first person who they've tried to learn from. You're not the first person they've consulted. You're not the first person they've taken training from or downloaded any information from. Okay? So for some reason, they don't get that their needs have been met by the people that they've tried with before. So naturally, people resolve to thinking, wait a minute, maybe this is what it's meant to be. I'm not meant to solve this solution. So it's important that you take the blame for their past failures off of their shoulders, and then you want to place it back onto whatever it is that they attempted before they met you. Okay, so you're not necessarily trying to change their mind that they're incompetent, or you trying to change their mind that they're stupid or whatever it is, or insulting their intelligence. You're just telling them, yes, I know and I understand that you've tried this in the past, but guess what? You haven't tried it in this way. You haven't tried it with a funnel. I know you've tried your SEO before, but you only ended up driving traffic. You haven't actually tried to convert that traffic into customers that pay, stay, and refer. And that's where you actually shine, by letting them know that, yes, I understand. I know what you're going through. I've been there. And, most of the time, us as coaches, we just want to come in and try and tell people that what we have is the nirvana that people are looking for. But you're not taking people on a journey to literally show them that you can help them by actually helping them. So it's very important that you take the blame for whatever past failures that they might have had off of their shoulders, so that you show them it's not their fault, it's what they've been attempting before. Right, that way they'll be open to listening to whatever it is that you are going to present to your new opportunity. All right. So in fact, within the context of putting out content on a website or on a podcast or on blogs and everything else, it's pretty much impossible to change somebody's mind. Okay, they might have tried to do whatever it is you're telling them before, and they now have a frame of reference based on that information alone. Okay, so when you want to present a new opportunity or a new idea to people, you want to create it as a new opportunity that they haven't experienced before. That's why you will be able to actually convince them that they are doing the right thing this time and they're not making yet another mistake. All right, let's look at an example of something really small so that we can all understand what it is that we are trying to drive at here. I'll put an example. These days, if you open my fridge, we've got tons and tons of milks that are in there. Some milk made from oats, some milk made from almonds. And for me, I just know milk from cows. So if I'm trying to explain to my kids that milk actually comes from cows, they look at me and they're like, what are you talking about? Because they've been brought up in a space where milk can come from anything that can be squeezed, really, all right? So let's look at an example. So if you are a milk producer and you're trying to sell cheese that is made from maybe raw milk, and I'm giving an example like this because this is something that I go through every single morning, trying to sell milk to my girls who have a different frame of reference of where milk is supposed to come from. So in this example, let's replace my kids with just people that you're going to be selling this milk to. Out of the people who are in a position to buy this sort of cheese, there's usually two groups. All right, there's the first group that believes that raw foods are good for you, and then there's the various bacteria that comes from that raw milk is also really good for you. And then you also have a second group of people that believes that raw milk is dangerous and that the bacteria could actually make you sick or even kill you. All right, so out of that first group, you have a good chance of making some sales if you're going to sell raw milk cheese to them, because their frame of reference, their worldview already believes that raw milk is good for you. And out of the second group, you likely make no sales at all. You know why? Because these people already are against raw milk, and they already have a frame of reference of them either having been sick from it or whatever lactose complications they might have had emanating from that milk. So in fact, you could write the best copy of your life, that the second group will still not make a single sale. You could put out the best content, you could put out the best podcast, you could put out the best social media posts. If people already have something against whatever it is that you're talking about, you will never change their mind. And even if you try, even if you make it your mission to change people's minds, you probably die trying. You know why that is? All right, because however persuasive you are, however many scientific studies you might bring to the table, however many reasons for them to buy from you, and how much, even if you bring in proof, your reader or your listener will resist you, because there is what's called cognitive dissonance. All right. Now, let me explain to you what cognitive dissonance is. This is the discomfort that you feel when you try to marry or match two conflicting ideas or thoughts in your mind. Your brain already has made a decision, and the brain doesn't want to be proven wrong unless something drastic actually happens. So that's the reason why when you show up in people's news feeds, when you show up with content or with information, you want to go already along with those people that are already believing what you believe, value what you value, instead of trying to change people's minds. Okay, so that's the reason why, as a coach or consultant, you already want to sell to people that already understand and value the work that you're doing. And those that are not quite ready yet, you can nurture them with an email marketing sequence without you trying to sit down with calls and actually trying to convince them that they need your products when they don't actually need them, or they don't think they need your work. So let's work with an example here, because it's a very difficult subject to grasp, but once you get it, you will actually start seeing it all around you, and start using it to your own advantage. So, for example, someone who doesn't believe, let's go back to that raw milk example. If somebody doesn't believe that raw milk is safe, they might actually feel uncomfortable about maybe reading about all those scientific studies saying that raw milk is safe. And, for them to alleviate this discomfort, guess what they do? They just, decide that this is bogus information, and then they walk away. Now, you would have spent all your time, your energy trying to convince this person, whereas they've already gone. Right? They have already gone to find something that goes along with their line of thought. All right, so another example might be maybe there's a good kid that actually gets angry with his brother for having broken one of his toys. This actually happened over the weekend. When we were visiting another kid, the brother broke one of his toys. Ouch, that would have hurt, right? And he feels cognitive dissonance because he feels unjustified, because the brother was unfair to him because he broke his toy. But he also knows that it might have been a mistake, but he doesn't want to believe that it was a mistake. He wants to believe that the brother did it on purpose. Okay? And to alleviate this discomfort, you know what he might decide? He might just say, he might go and revenge. All right? He might go and break his brother's toys as well. That way he feels like, wait, we are now, equal. And he's just decided this because his brother did it first. He started it. You started it. You know what I mean? So cognitive dissonance is hugely powerful force in our minds and in our lives. That's why I came up with that statement that says people like us do things like this. All right. There's no more powerful tribal marketing like this. Okay. It's more than features, more than benefits. We are driven to become a member of a good standing tribe. We belong to who we belong to. We want to be respected by those we sort of aspire to connect with. We want to know, what we ought to do is part of that circle, that we're doing the right thing that is expected by the people that are around us. Okay. So if whatever you're selling, your health, wealth, or relationships doesn't go along or doesn't feed into the story already going on in your customer's mind, and you try and change that statement, you're fighting an uphill battle. All right. So it's not the norms of the masses, but the norms of our chosen tribe, which basically means that we will always be doing what we have always been told is the right thing to do, or what we believe is right for us. So we, as people, we need to make sense of our lives and of our beliefs, so we avoid ideas and beliefs that contradict what we already think is right or true. If you don't believe what I'm saying, just look at the last couple of years where other people were deciding against, getting, the medical procedure, and other people, they didn't even need to be convinced. All right. So all of those things are happening in our society. Some people are for it and some people are against it. There's always an us versus them, scenario with anything. So that's why you need to really understand and know who your target audience is. And once you know them, then you understand what their beliefs are. You know what they want, what they're looking for. And if they're looking for an opportunity, they need to belong, they need connection, they need peace of mind, they need status, and they need to be valued. And if you don't know any of those things, you're never going to be able to change their mind towards wanting what it is that you are creating for them. Okay. And let me tell you something, you won't succeed because your listener is going to go to any length trying to justify their current belief. So you need to really understand who your audience is and where they're trying to go. So that's the reason why I mentioned you need to have a clear understanding of what their dreams are, so that your offers, so that your products, anything that you're putting in front of them validates their line of thinking. And once they've connected with you, you can then lead them towards the right frame of mind and how to think. But before they have even started engaging with you, you can't change their mind. So like I said, you're not going to succeed because your listener is just going to go to any length with their current belief, so they won't even consider an alternative. You know why? Because thinking of alternatives is uncomfortable. People are afraid to make a mistake. People are afraid to be wrong. People are afraid to be laughed at. People are afraid to do the wrong thing. If your opportunity, if your information is not helping them become or appear smarter, happier, more stylish, more wealthier, more powerful, more attractive, let me tell you something, you are missing the point. Have an understanding of where your customer wants to go and walk them home. So you know what this does? This actually imparts your content. It imparts your selling, your podcast like this. If I didn't understand that you wanted a business that's profitable and enjoyable, I wouldn't be coming up with content like this. All right. So I wouldn't be trying to tell you things that don't resonate with you, because you almost never be able to change your audience current beliefs. All you can do is go along with them, put in your line of thinking, and make it easy for them to understand how everything comes together. And you just so happen to have a solution to the problems that they have. So if you can understand and articulate your customers' problems more than they, can themselves, they will automatically assume that you have a solution for them. So that's why it's super, super important for you to actually identify and understand who your target market is. Because if you don't, you will never, create for and relate to them in such a way that they would want to find out more about how you can help them solve their problem. Okay, so in practical terms, yes, you might be thinking, how is this going to be linked to marketing and things of that nature? It means you researching your audience. It means you digging deep and unearthing one or more of their deeply held beliefs. Okay, I understand right now where you are within your marketing. You're probably cold calling people right now, and nobody's even picking up your phone or responding back to you saying thank you so much for getting in touch with us, or even giving you a response back as to why they are not maybe working with you. And maybe you are out there sending hundreds of emails without even getting as much as thank you so much for reaching out. It's because you haven't understood or fully comprehended what it is that your customers are looking for. And it feels like nobody wants to buy what you're selling simply because you haven't taken the time to research your audience, to dig deep and actually unearth more of their deeply held beliefs. People are always looking to buy stuff, but they don't want to be sold to. Okay, so if you don't understand where they're going, if you don't understand what it is they're hoping to achieve, it will be super difficult for you to actually convince them to want to work with you. All right. And then the second step is to find a way to present your message in such a way that it supports and endorses those beliefs. Because once somebody already believes that, they need to do certain things, they need to become a certain person, they need to be approaching the market in a certain way, all you got to do is showcase that you can help them by actually helping them. So this is how you can do it. The same message can go to 3 different people and it can mean 3 different results or outcomes, just simply predicated on you having an understanding of what their dreams are and where they hope to arrive at. So let me give you an example. I might write a different message to sell the same product to 3 different audience type. So if you're selling maybe coffee, let's talk about coffee since we were on the milk route. Okay, if you're selling a fair trade coffee to maybe people that are health food lovers or people that really love health food, you put the emphasis on the fact that the coffee is organic, because health nuts, people that love their health, also want to eat organic food. This is still the same coffee. And if you're selling to people that love gourmet coffee or gourmet experiences, you want to emphasize the quality of the beans. To somebody who's a health nut, the quality of the beans doesn't inspire them or help them or even tempt them to want to buy if the coffee is not organic. So you see the difference now. Same coffee, but different point of reference. People that are into fair trade and, health food lovers believe that if you eat organic, that's the way to go. And people that are gourmet lovers believe that the quality of the beans make the brew taste nice, or actually gives them an enriching experience or an enriching aroma, whatever it is that they're looking for in a coffee. And if you're selling to people concerned about social justice, guess what you talk about? You talk more about the fair payment made to the coffee growers. They don't care about the quality of the beans. They don't care whether it's organic or not. They care about if the coffee bean farmers are being well compensated. So you see, same coffee, 3 different markets, and you can approach them at 3 different strategic messaging points, or at different message intervals. You see? So I always try to be in concert with what my audience believes and absolutely avoid disagreeing with maybe any of those challenging beliefs. You know what I know? I viscerally know that you gotta work hard, and my audience knows that. I viscerally believe that you gotta put content out there, and my audience believes that. I do not subscribe to get rich quick schemes. I do not subscribe to things that just come without you having worked for them. That's not who I am, and that's the sort of message that I always impart onto my audience. So it resonates. So if you maybe are deciding, okay, who is this guy and should I work with them? Okay, if you're a coach, a consultant, or owner of a small to medium business, I can work with you. Already, you have some sort of a service that we can, amplify to your audience. Okay, and if you have an established business with maybe 100 plus in annual revenue and you possess a clear understanding of the value that you provide to your clients, I can work with you. All right, you see, because it has taken you a while to get to where you are. It has taken you time, money, and effort, but you believe that doing work that matters actually makes you, head and shoulders above anybody else who's just trying out there. And if you're sick to death of having no control of how you get your clients in your business from week to week, I can work with you. All right. So you see, because of already my clients are already going through these things, I've taken time to understand them. I've taken time to really, understand and create solutions and systems for them. Okay. It's different when somebody comes to me and they operate a product-based business, somebody who's doing drop shipping or e-commerce entrepreneurs or people that are doing software. It's difficult for me to get results for a person like that because we have to sell 3,000 product for him to get a profit, for him to justify the work that we're doing for them, etc. You know what I mean? And if somebody's searching for a get-rich-quick scheme or something that just helps them achieve millionaire status overnight, I can't work with a person like that because we have a different mindset. Okay? Or maybe you're a coach or consultant who prefers to rely on outdated techniques and maybe you want to try cold calling to find clients and things of that nature. I can't work with somebody who's got that mindset, and I'm not going to go out of my way to try and change your mind. All right. So that's why I'm saying I'm always trying to be in concert with the beliefs of my audience. And I absolutely avoid disagreeing or challenging those beliefs because we want to work towards the same goals. I want to be the person that encourages their dreams. I want to be the person that justifies their failures. I want to help them throw rocks at their enemies. I mean, this may sound very obvious, but so many coaches and consultants, they interpret maybe being persuasive or being a good salesperson as meaning that they have to persuade the reader to change his or her own mind. That's a battle that you will, it's a race to the bottom. And if you want to win that race, go for it. All right, it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to change somebody's mind, especially if somebody has their mind set up or they're already lazy or they already have a way that has been working for them and they just do not like change. It's not going to happen. Your job is to persuade your reader, your prospect, or whoever you want to be working with to do something they're already inclined to do. It's like trying to sell me a dress. Never would I be ever seen wearing a dress, even if it's on Halloween or even if I'm playing dolls with my young girls. I would never be caught red-handed wearing a dress. So why would you want to convince me or change my mind in trying to convince me to wear a dress? It's never going to happen. So if you want to, look at what you're doing, help, identify your target market and clarify your message. This is a question you always have to be asking yourself if you want to be in alignment with where your customers are going. Are you ready? Are you ready for the question? What do you want your target market to ask you to do for them? What do you want them to show up on your door to ask you to help them with? If you can answer that question, you're already halfway to creating for and relating to an audience, and instead of you trying to convince people to maybe work with you when they're not even interested. What are they wanting you to help them with? Find out what that is, and then eventually you would actually create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. So if you want to, take advantage of you finding out exactly what your customers are and take them on a marketing journey, I invite you to schedule a call with me so that we can have a chat and then see how we can actually help you create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. When we're on the call, I'll work hands-on with you to develop a strategic plan, and then we'll deep dive and work through first of all your ideal client clarity, and then look at your strategic messaging, and then look at what are your offers. What are you actually offering your clients? Maybe your consulting, your training, your information, your expertise. Does it actually align with where your customers are already going? Does it actually align with the goals that they have? And is it actually encouraging their dreams? And once we've done that, we'll look at how you're pricing your work, and then obviously optimize your business model so that it fits where you are headed. It fits where your clients expect you to be, so that you're in alignment with the people that you're going to be working with. All right. So if people expect you to write books and you're not writing books, then you're not speaking the language that they expect a trusted advisor like you to be working with them, etc. All right. And then pretty much after that, I'll help you set up your marketing engine and lead generation system so you can constantly attract the ideal clients that you want to work with, and you can actually create for and relate to the people that you are going to be working with. I don't know what you're going to do with this information, but let me tell you something. People like us do things like this, and your clients and your prospects are out there seeking people that can help them do and have a happier existence. But you got to be in alignment with them. You got to be speaking the same language as they are, because the toughest approach you could ever take is to try and change your reader's mind. I'm hoping that you do something with this information. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au